the future of SMMA had $56 in our bank accounts. You can take and eventually branch out and build a 7-figure company. Imagine if you never lost a client and all your clients that churned were still paying you $300 a month.
Churn doesn't exist for your model. How did you become top 2 in the world for GHL affiliate? That's so freaking smart.
Most people realistically don't want to even get to 100K. Get to the 10K a month first. I think everyone should get to 10K a month first.
They're doing it for themselves and not for other people, because mission is so much more important than ambition.
Chinese, they think in 100-year business plans and 1,000-year business plans.
Their government does too.
Exactly. And that's what no one does. Like, when's the last time you asked an agency owner or any business owner, what's your 100-year plan?
Yo, what is going on, everyone? I got a good one for you today. We're here in beautiful Medellin with the man, the myth, the affiliate king, the guy who just does SMMA differently, Mr. Pavel. Dude, I'm super excited to have you, man.
What's up, man? Thank you.
Would love to just, I guess, start off with your story and share with the audience, like, who you are.
Yeah, man, let's do it. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. I'm glad you're visiting Medellin. Yeah. Is it your first time here?
It's my second time, actually.
Second time. All right, man. Yeah, hope you're having fun. So yeah, man. So my story starts, how far back do you want me to start?
Let's start back from like Ukraine.
We're talking Ukraine.
Yeah.
All right, early days, man, early days. So yeah, I was born in Ukraine and I moved to Buffalo, New York when I was 5 years old with my family. So my mom and my dad, we got a one-way flight and just moved to Buffalo. Had $56 in our bank accounts. Not even a bank account,
when
actually.
Was this?
We didn't have a bank account. Late 2000, so almost 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have a bank account, so it's actually $56 in cash. So we had.
Wow.
And it was fun, man. We moved to Buffalo. And have you been to Eastern Europe before?
No.
Any
never,
countries? Okay.
Never.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're from Lviv, and it's a very beautiful city. People love fashion, and it's just a nice historical city. And we moved to like the worst area of Buffalo, like downtown Buffalo.
Yeah.
It was the projects. It wasn't fun. It's all we could afford. We didn't have anything, and also the income that people make in Ukraine is just way less, so we couldn't bring any more. And it was a huge culture shock. The way my mom describes it is she saw New York, and she was so excited to come to Buffalo, New York, because it's Buffalo, New York. And so everyone thinks New York is this fancy, nice place and everything. And then we moved here, and it was a huge culture shock. Everything was way more expensive than we thought. It was dirtier than we thought, again, because of where we live. And it wasn't that pleasant of an experience. I didn't speak English. My parents knew a little bit of English. And so I just kind of dived into school, took a bunch of ESL classes, after school programs to learn English. I was 5. And so I just entered first grade. And it was a grind, man. It was a grind. Both my parents worked 2 jobs, and I was in after-school programs. And then eventually my mom, once she knew enough English, started going to college and going to school to try to level up our income, because they were working, I think, at like a grocery store. They were both working 2 jobs, shitty jobs, mopping floors, basically. So, but we got here, and they came to give me a better opportunity, and it seems to have worked out.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about that. So you obviously started off, you know, somewhat of a rough beginning, but it made you the person who you are today, I'm sure.
100%.
So where are you now? Who is Pavel, and like, what are you doing business-wise? Tell the audience.
Yeah, man. So it's definitely been a fun journey. I think it's definitely taught me a lot. Watching my parents grind and watching my family always put in work and working extra hours and then not having anything. And it's definitely turned me into who I am today, and also gave me an outsider's perspective of, I came here for a better opportunity, and that was always my intention, is to work hard. I saw my parents doing it. I knew why they came here, and if I did anything less than that, I would have felt like a failure. And although I hated school, I knew that there's no one stopping me from doing anything else that I wanted. Obviously, we have the internet, and although YouTube back then wasn't what it is now, you couldn't find all these tutorials and SMMA guides and service delivery and this and that. I started off with books, and I started off by just reading books, reading different autobiographies, business books, negotiation books, and it's taught me everything from the beginning. I viewed autobiographies as like when pilots, actually you're a pilot, and you've done flight simulators, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So to me, autobiographies were like a flight simulator of what this person achieved in their life. And so I can get into their mindset, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Beautiful autobiography. And I would read these autobiographies of successful people, and I would compare that to what I was seeing working these shitty jobs of dishwashing and also mopping floors and just doing construction jobs, security jobs. I've done all kinds of jobs from age all the way up to gymnastics coach from age 16 to about, I think 20 was when I got like my first full-time job. But yeah, to answer your question, what I'm doing now is I started growing my agency. I started my company in 2017. It was web design. From there, it evolved into SEO because I wanted recurring revenue. This is before Go High Level, before like SMMA was so big, and web design just wasn't that good of a model, of an actual business model. I had a bunch of clients that were paying me $100 a month for hosting, and that was nice. But I wanted additional services because I saw they were paying other companies $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month for SEO. And so I thought, well, why don't I just learn that? Which is what I did. So I dove into SEO, and then 2020 I got into like Facebook ads and actual like SMMA, social media marketing.
That's super interesting because when people think about SMMA and they think about digital marketing, they think about lead generation, Facebook ads, like you mentioned, but we forget that there's a whole nother suite of services that can be provided. So I find it fascinating because you have a pretty massive YouTube channel, at least relative to mine. And I started watching your videos. I'm like, interesting. He's talking about websites and SEO, but they're super sticky, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Like you don't have to deal with the churn. So let's talk about that, right? Like you got into the space, you started doing websites, you started doing SEO. What have you noticed about the website, the Google, that approach versus the traditional lead gen model?
Yeah, 100%. So when I dove into the SMMA world and I started buying these courses and the consulting and everything, I realized everyone was very one-sided into things, and they only did Facebook ads. I don't want to do anything else. Just Facebook ads, just lead gen, just paid ads, and that's it. This is what I do, and that's it. And I think it's great. I did dive into that myself a bit, but amazing. Let's do it. So I dove into that a bit myself, but I added my own twist to it. And the twist that I had was my background of being an actual digital marketer and helping these businesses not just generate leads, but being almost like they called it like an IT guy. It's not an IT guy. I wasn't setting up anything IT, but when you're working with contractors, they don't know anything about the internet. So if you have a grandma and you help her, click forgot password on Facebook, she thinks you're an IT guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the contractors. You do one thing on the internet for them, and then they just associate you with, no, you're just my internet guy. And I realized that these contractors loved that mentality, and they were so loyal that I have clients, dude, that I signed up in 2018. One of my first clients that I signed on for websites and hosting, he's a carpet cleaner, and he's still with me to this day.
Wow.
He's paying $100.
Since 2016, you said?
No, 2017 is when I started, but I wasn't doing hosting plans just yet. I didn't figure that part out. So 2018 is when I signed him up, and then I said, okay, $100 a month for hosting.
Wow.
And we've done SEO together, we've done some ads together, but still to this day, still pays me $100 a month since then.
Wow.
So show me a Facebook ads agency that has that kind of retention, right? You don't see it.
They're not out there.
And what I learned with the whole Facebook ads thing is as I became a digital marketer as a whole, I was downselling things like website hosting. So I would sign them up for leads and ads and, all like the SMMA model, but I would always downsell Go High Level. So first it was just website hosting, but then Go High Level made it so accessible. Google reviews, database reactivation, right? All the other services, automated AI responses to their Google reviews. Like they had this whole suite of stuff that everyone was missing out on. And so my retention was always amazing in my agency. Because,
what is your retention? Do you know it?
Which it depends, man. If we sign clients for just SEO, I mean, it's more than 6 months. I have clients that I signed for SEO in 2019, and they're still paying us $1K a month.
Wow.
So, long time.
Wow.
Or 2019.
So you don't have to be like the type of agency that's going out there and is constantly trying to outsell their churn, because quite frankly, churn it kind of like almost doesn't exist for your model.
Exactly. Clients do still leave for sure, right?
Sure.
But I think, especially when you talk SEO is a much harder sell. For sure, right? Because you're saying, hey, we're going to run these ads and you're not going to get results for maybe 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Right. So the way that I did it was I would do, okay, Facebook ads in the beginning, SEO on the back end, and then also web design. So now I'm taking over your whole digital marketing.
And they're kind of like stuck with you.
In a way, yes.
It's super sticky.
But in a very ethical way.
Yeah,
They're stuck with you in an ethical way because you help them with their entire business. And what I've realized is that even so with contractors, we're dealing with very big projects, right? We're dealing with like kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling. And so a lot of them can only take on like 4 or 5 per month. Some could do more. And so we would help them bring on projects, but then they would run out of space in their calendar. They literally can't bring on more projects. So they would pause our services. So let's say the average agency is what, 3 months retention?
Yeah,
3-4 months.
2-3 months.
2-3 months, right? So let's say they pause our services after 3 months. They pause our services, but now I have them on the Go High Level plan at $300 a month. And we're tracking all their website form submissions, their live chat on their website. We're still booking in. So for example, when you do websites, a lot of people just have a website contact form. Redirect them to a calendar and then to a thank you page. So we're selling their website now. Okay, we'll help you get appointments from your website. And so now they don't want to cancel. You've done all the hard work of getting the client. We downsell them at $300 a month. And what we've noticed also is that then in 5 months, in 6 months, the same clients come back because they've been paying you every single month. And now whenever they are ready for more ads or for an additional service, they're just used to you. They've been working with you. In their mind, even though they hired you for ads for, let's say, 2-3 months, they've been paying you for 7 months.
Now, I'm super interested because I feel like a lot of people listening, they're running an SMA or they're thinking about starting one. They all, like you said, they're super one-sided. They only want to do Facebook ads. Keep it simple, keep it simple. And yeah, that makes sense. But once you get to a certain point, I mean, does it make sense for people to have it as an added service? I see so many benefits and so many synergies. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. I think ads are amazing because SEO just takes time. Right? And it's also hard to learn all these other strategies and these other like service delivery vehicles like SEO and web design. Yeah. You could outsource a lot of it, I think. But but it does help to really hyper focus. In 2020, when I don't know if you want to say the name, but when the whole world was shut down.
When someone decided to eat a bat.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get demonetized here. When that happened, I doubled down and I focused. And I spent all my time that I wasn't grinding in the agency, just learning and just studying. So I'd work until 5 p.m. I'd go to the gym and then I'd come back and just watch courses. Wow. I was a machine just watching SEO courses and more stuff on web design and more stuff on Facebook ads. How can I be better? And I did that for about 2 years. Obsessed for sure. That was the year my life changed.
And that's so interesting. Like, I feel like if someone wants to make a change, they literally have to be either obsessed or they're going to end up being average.
Be obsessed or be average.
Yeah, Grant Cardone. You know, it's a great quote. So, dude, that's super interesting. Okay. So let's kind of dive into where you think SMMA is going in the future of the space. And then I want to talk about how you make most of your money, which I find super fascinating because it's not really from, I mean, sure, you make money from the agency, but it's mostly from your other model, right?
Yeah, so let's start with the first question.
Yeah, let's start off with that.
Okay, so the first question is what specifically?
Where do you see the future of SMMA? Oh, I'm so sorry.
The future of SMMA.
Yep.
So the future of SMMA, I think that when people ask this question, I think it's based out of fear because they want to know, is this going to be relevant? Am I learning these skills for no reason? Right? And I'm sure you get this question as well. And I think that if you think back to newspaper ads, right? If you think back to radio ads, TV commercials, if you think back to like pamphlets, any other kind of advertising that has ever existed, that although now it's not the best model, people still are paying for those services, right? Like TV commercials. How often do you hear about an agency that's doing TV commercials? Never. But I had a client that I signed on. They were doing window and door replacements and installations. And they were spending around $20,000 a month on TV ads. Wow. And when I asked them, how many calls do you get from that? How many leads? They had no idea. They weren't even using a tracking number. Yeah. They were using their regular landline, and that's just what they did. They signed a 1-year contract with this company. And so these companies do exist, but to go back to the point, if you were in radio ads or TV commercials, you still gained so many valuable skills that when the internet came around, if you were early enough to see that and you were to pivot into social media, you would crush it. You already understand copywriting, how to create persuasive messages
Yep.
on TV, on radio, on newspaper, on anything. So at the end of the day, you can pivot. Marketing isn't going anywhere.
No.
And all the skills that you learn, all the skills that you build from, even if you're doing web design or SEO or anything, it doesn't matter. You will pivot those things, those skills into whatever the next vehicle is. Again, it could be TikTok, could be whatever. It doesn't matter. And I think although the future of SMMA and social media, social media marketing isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Social
media, everyone's addicted to it. Marketing on social media isn't going anywhere. So I think no one has to worry about anything. But more importantly than actually having these skills, more importantly than actually knowing like these technical how-tos, I think is actually having the skills. Right? We were talking about this yesterday. And all the skills that you learn from agency, I think, by far surpass any other vehicle, e-com or drop shipping or this or that, because you learn so much all in one. You learn Facebook ads,
client success,
sales,
leadership,
prospecting, leadership, copywriting. Any one of these skills you can take and eventually branch out and build a 7-figure company just off that one skill.
Without a doubt.
And now here we are, you're learning everything. And so I think you're becoming an amazing business owner by getting into just marketing as a whole. It doesn't even have to be social media marketing. Even if you take my model, I know you're strictly SMMA, right?
Yep.
Which is just Facebook ads and that kind of thing.
Well, we do it differently. We did a hybrid model. So it's Facebook ads, but because most business owners aren't good at selling, we had to coach them. So we created a coaching program in addition to the Facebook ads.
I love that. Yeah, and I think the future of SMMA is you adding on additional services and at the end of the day, solving more problems.
I love that. Like a full service
that's what
marketing company.
Exactly. And that's why I think my model worked well, is because my profit margins were insanely high.
What are they, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so they were, if we're bringing in 20 to 25K a month, profit will be 16, 17, 18.
You know, it's so interesting. I know so many 100K a month agency owners where they're doing significantly more in revenue, but your profit is so much higher, because at the end of the day, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is reality. So I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and we were talking about this yesterday too. The average agency owner or these gurus that flex the students, right, that are making 100K a month ASAP.
I can't stand
the next 30 days.
You know what? I think there's a switch happening now.
I think so too.
More and more gurus kind of talk about profit. Like they've always, like they act like they've always talked about it, but I am seeing more of that. But you're right, man. Everyone's always pushing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of these agencies, and it's cool that you're seeing this as well, but I noticed that a couple years ago, and that's when I started talking about it on YouTube. And they're making 100K a month. Profit margins on that are what? You've seen a bunch of 7-figure agency owners. Yeah. What are profit margins on 100K?
A good 7-figure agency owner is doing 30%, but the challenge is most of the time it's not that they have a margin issue, they have a consistency issue. They can get to 100K, they definitely can't stay there, right? But if they're staying there consistently, then a good one's doing 30 to maybe 40% if their retention's good, because that's a big factor into margins that people kind of forget about. So yeah.
Right.
But
I'd say about 30%, but then they have a business partner.
Then they have a business partner.
So that brings it down to 15K.
They got 2 business partners. They have their actual business partner and then Uncle Sam.
Exactly. So we're talking, you make 100K a month, 30K's profit, you have a business partner. Now that's 15K a month profit that you're making. You're working 10, 12 hours a day managing a whole team. If you don't have a leadership team.
100K a month, you probably have like 12 to 15 employees. You know?
Yep, managing all of them. Right, and then Uncle Sam takes half.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're making a 6-figure income.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, profit.
Like the police officer in your town is probably making more than you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's why I like my model. I tried to even retire on my model because it's once you have it set up in place and you have, and by the way, I only had a couple team members. When that was my main thing, we only had about 2 virtual assistants helping me manage that business. 3. We had a virtual assistant and then a performance marketer. The performance marketer does the Facebook ads. They do all the back end go high level stuff.
So do you think your model is as scalable as the traditional lead gen model?
I think because you offer so many different services, it's not necessarily as scalable, because with SMMA, what I do like about it is that it's more copy paste. right? And it is nice. The onboarding is more streamlined.
Yeah.
And I think that you're able to onboard people at scale. It's easier to train the salespeople because they have one product. They're not selling all these different upsells, downsells.
Yeah.
So maybe not as scalable, but what I always say is start with this as your baseline and then grow from there. Most people realistically don't want to even get to 100K a month.
No, they
like
don't.
They're not entrepreneur in their like blood, in their spirit.
They think they do because the gurus tell them get to
Exactly.
100K per month. But genuinely, if they write down their goals, they definitely don't need to get to 100K.
100%. I think if most people can just get to, honestly, even a full-time income online, remote, where they can just work as much as they want, which you don't need to work that much if you're making 6K a month.
No.
Right? If they can just get to 6K a month and they can do it all remote on their laptop with their own systems, and they can feel proud about this thing that they built from the ground.
A good product.
A good product, just clients that they like, and it's relatively stress-free, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
So I always say get to that first. Get to the full-time income first. Get to the 10K a month first. I think everyone should get to 10K a month first.
Yeah.
And then if you want to scale and you want to grow to 100K a month or 200K a month, then do that. That's fine. But use this as the baseline.
100%. But they have to make sure that they're doing it for themselves and not for other people, because mission is so much more important than ambition, in my opinion, at least. And for example, like if someone's going out there and they get to that 10K mark, that 15K mark, that 6K mark, right? And they kind of reverse engineer and they take a step back. They can kind of see whether or not they want to do it, like you mentioned. And if they want to go ahead and get started, they can start off with like lead gen, and then they can tack on the services that you mentioned of web design, of SEO, and even just white label it, but they just become have a stickier product.
Exactly. Yeah, you can white label it, or even if you don't want to offer that full suite of products and services, if you're doing Facebook ads, you're using Go High Level, right?
Yeah.
Most 7-figure agencies that you know are using High Level.
Yeah.
And you're already onboarding clients with High Level. You're already following up with their leads on your Facebook ads with High Level. Why not just give them a piece of code and replace the form on their website and the live chat on their website with the code, and now they're just getting leads from their website in there in that same dashboard. So it's not even that you're learning all these different skills. Just simply offer High Level as your downsell, and that's it. So if a client leaves, like you said, in 2-3 months, they're now so invested in using your white labeled SaaS, and they're responding to their website form submissions, and they at least can track things better, and they have tracking numbers. They'll keep paying you that $300 a month for a very long time.
And then that's
your baseline.
100% retention.
Exactly. It's If you can get them, the problem with that is you have to, in the beginning, there's more hands-on work, because you have to train them to it's essentially a new habit.
Yeah.
Right? You're training them to use your white labeled SaaS as their like business management tool.
Yep.
The conversations tab, the social media posting, and this and that. But once you can train that habit in them, and they love it, and their front desk uses it, I mean, I have clients I speak to once a year, and they pay $300 a month.
That's amazing.
And it's all profit.
Yeah.
Right? So
100%.
Yeah. So you get enough of those clients, and even if you lose, like for example, even if I lost all my marketing clients, I'd still be at 6 figures very comfortably with doing no marketing, no employees, no anything.
Wow.
Just people that are paying for High Level.
That's super interesting. Let's talk about High Level, because I don't know if anyone knows, but what are you, like top 5 in the world GHL affiliates, or top 6 or something?
Top 2, yeah.
Top 2?
Yeah. So last month I was number 2 in the affiliate space, and yeah, man, it's been fun.
That's a huge accomplishment, because you're competing with some pretty big names, from Billie Jean to Frank Kern, who are all pushing GHL affiliates. And for those of you guys that don't know, I mean, Go High Level is obviously one of the biggest. It is the biggest platform for SMMAs, and they're becoming. I did a podcast with Sean Clark, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I didn't even know, because when I first got started, if you didn't own a marketing agency, you couldn't use High Level. That was literally a rule they had. I don't know if you remember it, but yeah, that was a rule they had. And Sean on the podcast blew my mind. He's like, "Oh yeah, we service anyone now." I'm like, "What?" So this is a CRM, not just for agencies; it's for everyone. It's becoming one of the fastest growing CRMs. Everyone knows it's High Level now, which is crazy to think, because a few years ago I was like,
"What's this?"
And half the time it didn't work.
Yeah. No, it was definitely more glitchy in the past, and we only used it for a couple features.
Yeah.
We just used it for basic lead follow up. Yeah. Now we integrated everything, because they've just leveled up so much. And
yeah. So how talk to me about that? How did you become top 2 in the world for GHL affiliate?
So with GHL, well, the first thing that I did was I actually grew my own company, so I knew what I was talking about. Right? I had my own agency and I had my own unique model. And I just noticed that, like we mentioned earlier, all the gurus were training everyone or telling everyone to get to 100K a month, 200K a month, and all these massive numbers. And in the beginning, the way that I even got started was I was a part of agency Facebook groups, and I just started sharing just stuff I was doing, just stuff that was working for me. I would share our downsell into like pay per appointment, right? So pay per show. We never offered that in the beginning, but as a downsell, if someone wants to cancel, hey, no problem. We already have all your ads. Let's just switch to pay per show.
That's so freaking smart.
So instead of leaving,
now they're not going to leave.
Exactly. And you already have all the ads built, right? So they pay. I tested it by using that as an upfront offer, but I didn't like it because I didn't know them, and also contractors are bad with responding. But if they already worked with us for our 3-month minimum, then I already trust them. They already paid us, and now we also have everything built. So instead of letting them go, it's just a downsell. Hey, no problem. Let's just keep your current budget. Maybe they had a bad month or so.
Dude, that is
pay per show.
Gold. That is absolute gold. And I wish more people in the space thought like you. Like thought about providing an actual product to your service, to your clients, and also just not being so one-sided. And that's what I'm taking away. That's my biggest takeaway. You're not one-sided. So if someone's not having success or isn't liking a current product that you have, what's the solution to that?
Exactly.
It's not a matter of, and I want to kind of dive into your background because I want to kind of understand who you had to become as a person or what life experiences you had that made you think like this. But it's, Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki always says poor people say I can't afford it, wealthy people say how can I afford it? You're doing the same exact thing with your prospects. Prospects say, I don't want to do this anymore. You're saying how can we make this work for you?
Exactly.
It's not like it's either yes or no. It's like how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this work? I love that. Dude.
Exactly.
That's super powerful.
Exactly. And it's good for the prospect and it's good for you. If you're charging a $2K a month service retainer and then you downsell them into a pay per appointment or pay per show and you get them 15 appointments, we're charging $100 per appointment. That's still $1,500 a month that we collected from that client, and they're happy as well. And so sometimes it goes above the 2K, sometimes it's 1,500, sometimes it's 1K. Either way, the ads are built, the employees in place, so it doesn't cost you anything extra. So it makes sense. But to answer your question about the affiliate stuff, so I would just make these posts of stuff like this inside Facebook groups, and no one for some reason was doing it, which is kind of crazy to me. And then I realized that people weren't utilizing this model correctly. They weren't downselling high level, which all the work is done. You already have the prospect. They're literally onboarded. Just integrate a few more things, and now they're a client forever. Imagine if you never lost a client, and all your clients that churned were still paying you $300 a month. I mean, at the very least, you'd have a lifestyle business, right? And that was my mindset with it. So I started making posts like this, and then people were liking and commenting and reaching out to me, and I was just doing a bunch of free Zoom calls with everyone. Just didn't charge anything, just to see what people liked, like what else the market wanted. And I thought maybe I'll either partner with agencies or maybe run ads for agencies, just as a side like fun thing, because working with contractors, they're just never really thankful, and I just wanted something else and a different kind of niche to talk to after a while, since I've been in this since 2017. Man. So it was just out of good faith. I was just jumping on, and then I thought maybe in the future I'll do some kind of one-on-one coaching, like nothing like a program. And then a bunch of people kept reaching out. I put them all inside of one Facebook group, and then I would just do weekly coaching calls, and that's what gave me my initial YouTube video ideas.
Wow. And now you have a course on.
Basically
how you scale, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's way more than a course. So it's a school community. We have a bunch of courses in there. We have a full web design course, a full SMMA course on how I grew that, and even like back end stuff like SEO and web design and a whole bunch of stuff, and how we downsell all the scripts and everything. And that's included with our Go High Level affiliate link. So you sign up, and it really is like a 10K product. I've paid people 5K, 8K. And got daily coaching calls, right? Wow. And got like a course and everything. So I just outdid all of that. All my favorite things that I learned from coaching programs, I included it in mine. And then I made the cost so low. Just sign up to High Level. And that's it. You can also join if you don't have High Level. And that does require a fee. Still very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. So Yeah, man, that's how it started, and it just kept growing as people kept joining. They kept asking questions, which gave me YouTube video ideas. I would then make videos about what they were asking. I would send it to them, but also publish it to YouTube.
Who's your competitor? Who's number one for GHL?
Number one right now is Spencer. This guy named Spencer, and he has Google Ads. So
Okay.
he doesn't. Yeah, he's not even.
It's not even in this.
He's not even a real competitor because he doesn't do YouTube videos on Go High Level. Maybe he does by the time this video's out. I don't know, but as far as I know, he's doing Google Ads and he's just bidding on the main Go High Level keywords. So he's a long-time affiliate, and if you Google like Go High Level reviews or Go High Level in general, it's his link that pops up. So you're signing up under his affiliate without even you knowing.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
So.
That's super smart.
Super smart. Very expensive though.
Yeah.
Very expensive to outbid High Level.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, he's been in the industry for a while, so he knows his Google Ads.
Interesting. That's super fascinating, man. Okay, so how much, if you don't mind me asking, how many affiliates do you have on GHL right now? Or you're not allowed to say?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I can tell you we just crossed 2,100 members in our community. So that's a mix between affiliates and people that are paying.
Wow. So you're doing well over 100K
yes.
in GHL affiliates. Profit.
Yes.
That's amazing, dude. That's super cool. One thing that I noticed about you is we met up for the first time a couple days ago for a dinner. And something that I really admire is you're super, it's, I think it was Franklin Roosevelt. He said, geez, I don't want to butcher the quote. It was like something with a stick. But basically, you're just a super humble guy is what I'm trying to say.
Thank
and you ask questions and you're always looking to learn. And I know a lot of other people making significantly less money, and the first thing they want to do is tell you how much money they make. Where did you kind of develop that, I don't know, that just being a humble person and being so low key about it?
I think I'm just a lifelong learner. Everyone you meet has something to teach you. And at the end of the day, I still have a lot to learn. And I still feel like I'm just starting in my career, right? And I just developed a student's mindset. I'm always here to learn. Even from the very beginning, when I worked my dishwasher job, I would sit there and hating my life washing dishes, but I had something to learn from everyone. Even the people that were, even if it's what not to do. The head chef, been there his whole life, addicted to drugs, smoked everything, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And just all around, I didn't want his life. And what I noticed was everyone in that environment was depressed. They all hated their situation. And the one common thread was they didn't care about their education. They always talked a lot and just yelled and this and that. And it was just not a good environment, but I learned a lot. That's what actually inspired me to even go to college, because none of them had a degree. I didn't want to go to college. I did. I graduated with a 2-year degree, but I wanted to pursue the 4-year degree. And then, I didn't technically drop out, but in my eyes I did, because I wanted the 4-year degree. I got the 2-year and I was already enrolled into the next semester. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this, because I got a job. And it was like a $50K a year job in programming. So I used to write code.
Okay.
And yeah, so I learned that in 6 months while I was working in security. But anyways, that's beside the point. And I just learned what not to do. And the only reason I did that is because they didn't do that. And I just knew I wanted to do the opposite of whatever they did. And so, yeah, man, it's just a student's mindset. I'm still reading books and I'm still learning from people. I'm still paying people for coaching and consulting, and I'm trying to acquire knowledge, man.
That's super cool.
And so I think at the end of the day, that's how you can get the most out of life. I can walk in and boast and talk about this and my accomplishments, but then I'm going to walk away from that dinner not knowing anything.
And then you're going to stay still.
Right, I'm going to stay still. But everyone in there, regardless of money, there's something I could learn from them. And if I could just talk to them. And then also, people like you more if you let them speak about themselves. That's one of the first principles I learned from How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And so if you want to make any sort of connections or business partnerships or anything, people have to like you, and you genuinely have to be interested in others. And I think that's what I have going for me. That's worked very well in my life. And I just analyze what's worked well, and I do more of that. And so that's how I got here. And so I want to walk away, and I want to learn, I want to grow, and have good people around me. So
it's super cool, man. Super cool. So I guess a few things just to wrap it up is, how did coming to the States, what impact did that really have? And that's kind of a loaded question. But you obviously came from Eastern Europe and um, uh, Ukraine, and it's very unfortunate what's going on there now. But how has that kind of changed the person you are today?
Well, I think it's crafted my entire mindset. I think a lot of people, it's crazy. I read a statistic the other day. It was a survey done, and about 56% of Americans don't have a passport.
Wow.
Which is insane, right? So we're here in Colombia, and my family and most of my friends ask, why are you in Colombia? Like, what are you doing out there? Why did you leave? Why this? Why that? And these people always ask you these questions as to instead of why, they never think why not. They never actually sit down and ask, maybe there's something he knows that I don't. Let me try to figure out why he's here. And they never really dive deeper. They just think that America's the best and this is the best place to live and this and that. But one thing I learned coming from Ukraine, and what I learned from that was my family moved here because of the opportunity, right? We moved to America because that was a better place. And obviously that's proved to be true. I would have been in a war right now had my mom and dad not sacrificed everything, their whole careers. They had degrees and they had to redo all of that in a second language that they learned. And if they didn't go through that grind and that struggle, mainly to give me an opportunity, I wouldn't be here. And so it's taught me selflessness for sure. And now I give back. I pay my mom a full-time salary. And
so you retired your mom?
She still works.
Okay.
So I can't say I fully retired her, but she could retire at any point and be very comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's just taught me that traveling is okay and going to different countries is okay and different cultures are okay. And I'm like Marco Polo, man. I want to go to different places. I want to experience different cultures. I want to take things. I went to Thailand and I learned some of their customs with Buddhism and how they are and how nice they are and how kind they are. And I learned things from them. And then the other day I was at a conference and I was speaking to someone that went to China and he's done business in China. And what he taught me is that the Chinese, they think in 100-year business plans and 1,000-year business plans.
Their government does too.
Exactly. And that's what no one does. Like, when's the last time you asked an agency owner or any business owner, what's your 100-year plan? Bro, they don't even have a 1-year plan, right? They don't know what they're doing tomorrow, let alone 100 years from now. That's what I think everyone should do. Make a 100-year plan. What do you want? It makes you think outside of yourself. What happens after me? And right, so that is something you can learn by actually going to different cultures or by speaking to people that go to different cultures. And that's probably one of the biggest things I learned. Obviously, I'm completely blessed that my family moved to America. I love it. I still go back to America all the time. I'm a citizen. I love it there. But I like travel, man. I like seeing different things. I like learning from different cultures and different kinds of people. And so that's also why we're here in Colombia, chatting, right?
Yeah, man.
So that's probably one of the biggest things. And it's humbled me. It's humbled me in a way to make me understand that not just because this is a cultural norm here doesn't mean that this is the right way to do things, right? We have cultures in Ukraine that I still follow to this day, but then there's certain things in America that I like over the Ukrainian culture. And so I'm going to take that from America. I'm going to take that from Ukraine. I'll take this from Thailand. I'll take this from Colombia. And so now I can live my best life based on what I see working in the world. And that's the biggest thing it's taught me, is that get a passport. And it's not just America and then everyone else. Everywhere else sucks except America. No, go, travel, see things, do things. And you'll be a better person for it. You'll have stories for days.
Yeah. That's interesting. Temple was talking to me about stories as well. I've never been like I want to go see the world. I've never been a big traveler, but from what Temple told me, what you told me, it's super interesting. I would be fast. But you know what? I also grew up in Jersey. It's literally the most diverse state in the country. So I feel like I've had a taste of a lot of different cultures, but getting out of Jersey and actually just going places, you can't beat that. So,
yeah.
Dude, that's super interesting. So what does the future look like for you, man? What's your 100-year plan?
Well, I guess you'll have to wait and see.
I'm excited to see, man. I know it's going to be some big things.
It's going to be fun, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Got a lot of stuff planned, and we'll see, man. I think a lot of things change, but you can't plan it step by step like you can with a 1-year plan or a 6-month plan. But I have a vision for what I want for myself, for my family, and we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll have to see. I'll document a lot on YouTube, and who knows? Maybe at some point I'll stop and become private. But right now is an era of grinding and launching content and and sharing more stuff that I find that works and so forth. So it'll be fun.
Super cool. Super cool. Last question that I want to ask you is, if you're, and I ask this in most of my podcasts, if you're at the top of the mountain, top of the mountain could be life, right? And there's a bunch of people on the bottom, and there's a massive flood coming. And if those people don't get to the top, they're all going to be washed away in the flood. What would be the way? Most people are at the bottom. Most people are at the bottom right now. Most people listening right now, they see the top. They want to get there. They see you. They just can't figure out how to do it. What would be your piece of advice to get them to the top of the mountain?
I think it starts internally. And I think people don't actually understand. They never actually ask themselves why they even want to get to the top. What's at the top? Right? They try to mimic success of others, or they see the people at the top and, oh, I want to be there. Okay, but why? Why? I hit a glass ceiling, and I was making about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I was traveling, I was doing whatever, and I did that for a year. I didn't make more. In 2019, I moved out of my hometown, and I was in Florida, I was in California, and I was just traveling, living on beaches, and I had a great life, but I never made more than like $6K a month. Like the whole year, I was ranging between $4 to $6K a month. And I never grew. And at the end of the year, when I reflected, I realized this is not it. Like I tried the whole partying and just like being this free thing and this free person. And I don't know, man, I like the grind. And I realized also that it was much more than just about me. I think you can have fun and that could be a chapter of your life. But at the end of the day, I realized that my family started grinding since the very beginning for me. They gave up everything for me. I'm being very selfish. With the skills that I have and my drive and ambition, if I channel it correctly, I could retire everyone. It's very selfish of me. And so my why was to get my mom a salary. It was to give her a better life. And you know, she was working a lot and she still does work a lot. My parents got divorced. So she kind of raised us herself as a single mom. And I wanted to give back, man. I wanted to give back. And also when I started thinking broader, I knew I wanted to go back to Ukraine, maybe start a charity or maybe, you know, I've always liked education. And so because that's how I got myself out of my situation, by reading books, by education, and by being driven. And I think most people, they don't figure out why they're doing what they're doing, right? They try to get to the top because they want a Lambo or this or that. And I wanted those things as well. But I think on the pursuit, you realize there's more to making money than just buying a nice watch, right? Like there's more to that. And I think if you can clearly identify and give very exact examples to yourself of what life will look like sit down with your mom or your dad and ask them, Mom, where would you want to go if just money were no option? And I think a lot of people starts with their immediate family. Like it's, you know, I see people that have visions and I want to, you know, reform how this and that, how people operate in these big life goals. But why don't you start with yourself and your family first? Right? Ask the people that raised you, what do you want? Like, where would you even want to go? Right? And watch as their face lights up as they talk about the things that they weren't able to achieve, maybe because they had kids or maybe because of this or that or whatever. And that gave me fuel and that gave me motivation by realizing that it's not just about me, it's about other people. And I think if you're there and you're grinding, you might need that fuel. If you're waking up before your 9 to 5 or before your school, your classroom, before everything, and staying after work, working out of Starbucks, that's hard, man. It's a grind. And so you need more than just, I want a Lambo type of goal.
I love that, dude. Mission over ambition. You know, it's interesting. I do a kind of an exercise. If I can't post it, if I can't flex it, and I still have the same feeling about achieving or wanting this thing, am I still going to want it? You know,
it's a good way to put it.
I love how you put it, man. You're super inspiring, man.
Thanks, bro.
Super, super inspiring. I'm super grateful that we did this. So thank you.
Amazing, man.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, bro. Yeah, nice to finally do this.
Yeah, man. This is one time out of many, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll definitely do a lot more stuff. Yo, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you liked it, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I can see you in the next one. And last but not least, make sure you guys check out one of these fire videos that the YouTube algorithm just hand selected for you. And guys, if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis so I can help you scale your agency and take it to new heights like I've done in the past, because I've built 2 7-figure marketing agencies before I could legally drink, go ahead, click down below, fill out an application, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.